What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I hope you guys are doing well. So this is a discussion video that's in response to a question that was asked of me on my channel. So if you guys remember my package opening video for a couple of days ago, I had a question in my comments from Shadow of the Moon 8766 that asked me a question about the Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon TCG community. So I'll read verbatim what the question was, which is a simple one, which says, a quick question. I've been subbed and watching your videos for a while now, and you keep mentioning the Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon TCG community not liking you. So what exactly happened to make them not like you? Well, while I've recorded this video for about 7 times, going on 8, I wanted to make this video as a video response, like I told them in the comment of their comment, to basically make sure that you guys all understood exactly where I'm coming from and why I feel the way I feel. So, 15 years ago, back when YouTube was just a small thing, I decided to make a channel. And this channel was basically me going into content creating. No, at first, no, I made the video. I made my channel because I was trying to keep up with all the stuff that I was watching. Then, after a year, I decided I wanted to go into it because of one of the biggest issues that I had with the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and that's downplaying other people's intelligence, down, downplaying people's motivation for wanting to play card games, and basically being an outlet for people, or just an outlet for myself to speak on things, because there was a lot of things that as a content creator I didn't get the chance to ever really hear people talk about. And after a while of, back and forth and content here and there, and finally being able to stabilize my content, I'm not gonna lie, going through the motions of things that I've gone through, especially now incorporating, Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'll even say it too, I don't even think a lot of the Puzzles and Dragons community likes me either. And it all stimulates for a lot of the things that I'm going to bullet point right now. And for these reasons are why I think the communities don't like me. And then that's because I don't showboat money that I don't have. I don't buy cards that just because they're, quote, the meta, or they're in the competitive deck, or competitive decks played them, I'm not going to go spend $1,000 of money just to have them. I have bills, I have rent, I have many other things that need money, and because I have a job, that does not mean I spend it all on video games and card games. I don't. I manage my money, I manage my time, I manage my peace, I manage my emotional, and I manage my physical. Also, that everything is kept up into one conjunction. The other thing is that just because content creators say a card is good does not mean that they're good. If someone tests them and they just don't happen to work out with them, they go on to the next. Some of us go on to the next thing. That's just how it is. Then there was all these issues of certain decks that I play and content that I create. Ever since I started my channel, I always created Harpie content, whether people liked it or not. I've also created content that was relegated to other archetypes in decks that I did like. There were many of people who said that I didn't hold, in quotes, I don't hold the same values as other content creators. Well, that's because I'm a whole different person. Just because we make content for Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't mean we're always going to see eye to eye, and that's just a part of life. You live it, you love it, and you learn from it. Then there was the issues about, me being in tournaments and stuff like that. I haven't been in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament for over a year now, since the TCG, since Yu-Gi-Oh! Since the Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional event back in Oakland of 2024. That was September of 2024. That was the last Yu-Gi-Oh! Event. That was the last major Yu-Gi-Oh! Event I've ever participated in. I've already made a video about my feelings and my congressions about that situation. And while it did hurt me to not have done as well as I wanted to, there was still the lingering things of dealing with a lot of people who said a lot of negative things about me. I always get a lot of negative things said about me. I get a lot of looks about me. And even then, at that point, it does hurt me both mentally, physically, and emotionally. Just like it did with Digimon. Remember, for 6 months, I was playing Digimon, trying to live my best life and trying to enjoy the game. But then realizing that I'm not good at Digimon on its competitive level, and I moved away from it, which, to be very honest and to be very fair, I'm kind of glad that I did. And just like Yu-Gi-Oh, I built decks of Digimon that I like. I have two binders dedicated to those. I have a couple of decks already built on Digimon decks that I play and put a big focus on. And while many of people have basically shitted on me for the last couple of weeks because of the whole Mastermon situation, which is I don't own EX6 Mirai Mikagura, and I don't own the BT21 Mastermon promo card, simply because, yes, like I stated just a while ago, money is an issue of things that I don't have. Sometimes I choose my bills and I choose having food over cardboard. Welcome to the reality of life. And just like I explained in those videos, we need more support than what is given to us. So sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. Or I build a version of the deck that is more budget friendly. So sorry, not sorry if you don't like how things are being dealt with in my videos, but that's just how I go through things. If you don't like it, then that seems like a personal issue, and you should, just like myself, go find a therapist. Because if it was not for my therapist, I wouldn't be able to sit down and create a video like this without wanting to find any of you and just snap your necks off. Now, with that in tow, the issues that I've had with Digimon players are just as similar to that of the Yu-Gi-Oh players. So really, it's not much of a difference there. I can tell you one thing. One of the many experiences that I had in Digimon event. Actually, I didn't even enter the event, and apparently that pissed some people off. I was at my locals, DFG, um, and there was a Digimon tournament going on at that point in time. And I chose not to participate in the tournament because A, I didn't feel comfortable playing in Digimon tournaments as it was. B, there was no card I was seeking at that point in time, nor was I going to waste any money in it. Even after the fact that someone had an open slot that they paid for, I still was not going to play in the tournament because I didn't feel comfortable putting my time, energy into dealing with other decks that I literally gave no shits about. So, at that point in period of time, the person in mention, who I don't know his name and care to not know that person's name, I don't even think they play Digimon anymore. I think they play a whole other card game, so joke's on you. Um, was that why am I not playing the game? I could just, enter and have the free card. Well, free card was a card that I'm not using in any of my decks, have no interest in. And apparently this person was upset because I made that statement and tried to argue with me. And I don't argue with children about my decisions in my life. I live my life and I live it to the best. So if that makes someone angry, then that seems like the personal problem. They need to go reflect on it. Just like how the many of people who stood in my comment section were a lot of nasty and negative things. Some of these things you don't see because YouTube has filters on a lot of the comment section, which I'm very thankful for. And that's part of the reason why some of my comments definitely have changed, or definitely have different outlets or different views. Or some things are just held for review because I do not feel like dealing with all this microaggression and dealing with microaggressions for people's responses and stuff like that. So, yeah, those are just what they are. I'm not going to continue to have to deal with that and break my mental, my physical, and my emotional to also handle those types of things. In conjunction to that, there really wasn't much for me to really state because I was already dealing with so much at that point in time. It was no different from Yu-Gi-Oh situation where I go through those things, just insert card names and decks here, and that's pretty much how things fluctuated, or how things were just overall looked at that point. I do try to keep myself entertained, but unfortunately, those things wither themselves down. Then it was also the issues of things that are said on my channel or things that are brought up on my channel. I'm not the traditional content creator that Konami looks at, nor will they ever give me the chance or the light of day. I don't have the subscribers. I don't have the influence that they're looking for, nor do I create the content that they would ever want to stand behind. And that's perfectly fine. I've come to grips with that years ago, and I'm okay with it. I'm not going to sell myself out just to impress people who were never impressed with me to begin with. I've been through a lot of situations that over the last couple of years should have shattered and broke me, and most of them did, but for whatever reason, I found my light and I picked myself back up and I kept going. And then on top of dealing with all those situations on my personal life, I'm still dealing with a lot of things here on YouTube and on social media, which also would have shattered me and broke me, and at points they did, and I still managed to get back up. So while congressionally cutting things off, because yeah, there's a lot of things that go into making content that are both mentally, physically, and emotionally draining. I pick what I want to pick because it's easier to create things than it is to just look at things and be like, okay, well, at least I did it, yay, and then go on from there. As opposed to trying to stick my nose into certain sections of the card games that I know nothing about. So I'm not a good competitive player at all. So don't see me really trying to stick my nose in competitive scenes. I'm not gonna. I stopped making videos for like Forbidden Limited list because people didn't like it. People didn't like my opinion. People didn't like what I had to say. So I'm just, at those points where I'm done with it. If cards that are off the list come off the list that I enjoyed, and I'll talk about them. Otherwise, I'll just repost them on social media and keep it going, because I really don't have time to deal with the children that these grown folks claim they aren't, and they really act like they are, because they are. So it's definitely the microaggressions, definitely the just toxicity of things that really just point me in the direction of why I've always said I don't think the community likes me. Some people will say, no, I like you. No, you like me, but the others don't. They don't like me for all the reasons that I'll state yet again. I'm not a bigot. I'm not a self-hating black man. I'm not a toxic masculinity dude. I make videos and content for myself rather than making it for other people. I enjoy the fact that other people watch my content because they like what they see and not what they've heard. I like the fact that after all these years, there are still people still interested in my content, despite the fact that I don't have the 10K followers, the 100,000 plus viewers and subscribers and stuff like that, and that I continue on and enjoy what I create when I create it, even when I want to have a mental breakdown every 15 seconds. So, Shadow of the Moon, if this answers any of your questions, I hope they do. If not, I really just don't know what else to tell you, because there's only so much I can physically, mentally, and emotionally take and give. With that said, you guys, I'm just going to wrap up this video because I have other things to do, and I really would like to go ahead and get me some rest because I have work in the morning. So with that said and done, thank you guys so much for watching this video and the content. I really do appreciate it. I have other things to get ready for you guys and other things to do as well. So don't forget to do all those other things, and socials in the description box below. HBJ signing out. Take care.